Victoria Smith. I'm from the Digital Boost team, and today we are going to have from the Digital Boost team going all about switch off for the holidays. So I'm going to hand over to Tip, and we'll welcome you all here for this morning's session.
Cool. Hello everyone. Good to see you all again. So yeah, thanks for the intro, Victoria. And I guess if you have any questions or comments, just chuck them in the chats and Facebooks, or if you're on the Zoom or wherever you are. So yeah, will share my screen. So essentially, this is kind of like explaining it, but I know that like everyone's circumstances are quite different. So, you know, some things will be relevant to your business, some things might not be. I'll repeat this a few times, but the goal is for, you know, everyone to pick up at least one thing that you can take back to your holidays, you know, because, you know, clearly, you know, small business workers, owners, sorry, if that's you, or if you work for a small business, you know, we're some of like the most, you know, hardest working people, and, you know, sometimes it's you literally physically cannot switch off, and that's okay. Like, that's okay, but there are steps you can take to kind of minimize you know, the amount of work you do, or, you know, make sure that you only do what you have to do now. So yeah, let's get started. And again, any comments or thoughts, just chuck them in the chat, so we'll get to them probably at the end. So yeah, I guess I just kind of touched on this, but yeah, it's not realistic for everyone to like switch off completely. You know, some people are lucky enough to, but, you know, a lot of people are not. But there are always some steps you can take to minimize disruption for your well-earned break. So I guess, like, still touching on that, is you don't need to go cold turkey straight away. So you can ease yourself into the festive season by doing a little less work every day and implementing the following steps slowly. So essentially, you know, it's not realistic to go from, you know, your full, you know, 7-day work schedule to, you know, just ignore it. Like, you know, it's not realistic. And you end up stressing yourself out more, right? Probably. So, you know, take some little steps, and then, you know, baby steps, you know, take a bit of time, and then hopefully, you know, on like certain days like Christmas Day, you know, you can completely zone out. And yeah, so I guess like the first step is, you know, with Digital Boost, you know, so a lot of it will be digital focus tips. So make the most out of office. So essentially, you know, don't just say, hey, I'm on leave. You know, you want to give like as much detail, so, you know, you can answer the query at the same time. So, you know, sometimes you say, hey, I'm on leave. If there's an emergency, give me a call, right? That's pretty basic, and like that works. But, you know, just say, hey, if you set a complete one, where your customers, team members, suppliers can contact you, you know, that can reduce stress, because you know that that's sorted, and if something really is important, they'll get in touch. So say you're a hairdressers, and say it's like, you know, someone emails you to make a booking, you can say, hey, we've actually got a online booking system on, I think it's called Timely, which, you know, is really good. And then you can say, hey, you can book on there, you can see when we're free. If you're a you know, if you're a hairdresser, you know, you can say, hey, like, you know, if you're a supplier, like, you know, please get in touch with this person who's, you know, still working, and, you know, they'll be able to help with any inquiries. So yeah, essentially, you just want to make sure that your out of office addresses, you know, the needs clear as possible. And then also, you know, if you do have anyone working for you, have them sign up as a backup, so you know for sure that, you know, if anything is urgent, they'll call you if it's an emergency. Speaking of emergency, establish a clear definition of emergency. So, you know, sometimes, you know, like, you know, someone forgets, you know, a little bit of detail, but it's not really that urgent, I guess. And, you know, if you're like at the beach, you don't really want to take a call, you know, for something like that. So give some clear reasoning for someone to contact you. This means that, you know, everything that is not a real emergency can be dealt with after the break. So yeah, so it's just, I guess it's just really important to kind of set your clear boundaries and guidelines, I guess, to, like, you know, the people you work with. Else, you know, especially if you're taking an earlier break, or, you know, people who are still working around you, you know, you've worked so hard this year, you deserve to kind of zone out. I know that things will come up, but it's really important that you say, hey, like, you know, only if like something literally breaks, or, you know, depending on what your industry is, and maybe say, hey, like I'll answer. So another good way is say, hey, like I'm on leave. Send any messages to me and then answer them on the 27th. I'll spend 2 hours on my emails, and then anything else is an emergency. You can give me a call. And if you are on call and you have team members, split the time you're on call. Like even if you're still technically on call, and if you do different roles in the business, at least they can filter through the emergency request. So, say Victoria and I are here or are on leave. Maybe I'm taking like 1 week off and Victoria's on call, and then if anything to do with me comes through, and I feel safe knowing that they'll go through Victoria, and Victoria will say, hey, like like your team members will know you really well what you do, right? So Victoria will say, hey, like I don't think this is urgent for tip, so we'll wait until next year. But say something's completely wrong, something's on fire, Victoria will give me a call and say, hey, like like sorry, but you really have to get into this, and like I'm fine doing that because I know that like all these other niggly requests that aren't actually important, Victoria's filtered through for me. So I guess it's a good way to I guess actually tune out if you are lucky enough to have team members, because you can trust them to filter everything through, and yeah, and then it's kind of like a 50-50, like a give and take, I guess, because if you're on call another time, you do it for them. Leave your non-essential work gear at home. This can help you better tune out of your work headspace. So you don't want to bring your briefcase to the beach, do you? Clearly, like maybe bring your laptop, lock it up in a box or something, but I guess if you feel like if something does go wrong, you need it, that's completely fine, bring it with you. But if it's something like like you don't need your suit and tie, or something that might make you think you're still working, it's like kind of like all those little mental triggers, right? So yeah, for me, like I'll bring my laptop when I'm on leave. I've got like a microphone, I've got like I've got like all this other, like I've like even my mouse I won't bring, it's just my laptop. It's there in case of emergency. Like I like personally, for me, there's something that could go that wrong that I will need like a microphone and everything. So I'm lucky in that way. But just leave stuff at home, I guess, or even better in the office. Plan your return back. So I guess this kind of like it's a little bit late in the year for a lot of people now, but it means like at the start, before you go on break, do as many tasks as you can, get yourself ready. But if you when you come back, make sure you like have some time at the start to go through emails, go through your old tasks, go through any new tasks that came out while you're on leave. So so that anything that you do have to do when you come back, you can push that a little bit later, just so you can start fresh, right? New year, right? So yeah, just make sure that you take the time, or make the time to just kind of plan a good, nice, easier way back in return. Because we all know that when you come back on holiday, you look at your email inbox and you're like, oh my lord, that's a lot of emails. So we all know that's going to happen to like everyone. So I guess just make sure that you take steps to minimize or lessen the amount of time you're spent doing all that, or give yourself time to complete it properly and give it the time it deserves. Turn off notifications, log out of apps, or just delete them from your phone. So this is something I do. I'll go through it a bit later, but essentially, it's so easy, when you're just waiting for your flight to just, okay, I'm gonna check my email, my work emails. I'm gonna check my work Slack, my Microsoft Teams, or whatever app you use. It's so easy. You literally pick up your phone and you're like, boop, boop, boop. But sometimes adding like barriers to that can help you. So turning off notifications is one thing. Say you don't want all of the random work thoughts in your mind. So that one's really easy. I recommend that people do it, even like on a regular day, turn them off after 5 p.m. or whenever you finish, and just say, hey, like, as long as you communicate with your team, hey, anything urgent, give me a text because I'll check that. And then, yeah, log out of apps as well. You know, like I do this to reduce my social media intake, and it does work for work apps as well. So, you know, like I log out of like Instagram, you know, if I feel like I'm spending too much time with it. If I do want to get back into it, I can, you know, I can easily log in a few minutes, but you know, it's just that extra barrier that, you know, I open the app, I've put in my email and my password, it adds like, you know, and then it makes me think about like, do I want to log in? Maybe not. And like this is what I do with like Slack, and which is what our team uses like next week when I'm on leave. You know, just I'll log out of it, and then, you know, if I do need to get back onto it, it's, you know, it's no biggie. If you want to really, you know, like if there's not enough of a barrier for you, which, you know, sometimes it isn't for me, just delete the app from your phone, right? Like, you know, then that's like an extra. So you need to, you know, an extra hoop you need to go through if you want to check your notifications, right? So you need to go to the app store, download the app, log in, you know, and all that stuff. And then often that's enough hoops that, you know, like if something is really important, or if this is like the one day you've set aside to check your Slack, then that's completely fine. But it's just, yeah, you know, it's just kind of minimizing it, because, you know, realistically, if something does go wrong, like as long as you've told your team members that, hey, like, you know, give me a text on my personal number, and then I'll check it. But, you know, all the other stuff might just be fluff. So yeah. This is kind of on the same idea, but screen time and app restrictions. You can also limit how much you can monitor and limit how much time you're spending on each app, including your work one. So you can also set a limit on iPhone really easily, and on Android there's a few apps you can download. Just search like app limiter on the Google Play Store, but you can set a limit on how long you're allowed to spend on each app. So say, you know, you only give yourself, you know, 10 minutes when you're on break to check your emails, right? Or maybe even 5 minutes, right? To say 5 minutes a day. Anything more than that, you know, it'll block you. You can always get back into it if you really have to, but, you know, and it's just stuff like that that adds like a barrier, because a lot of it is just like adding little barriers, because, you know, we're so, in these days it's so easy to just pick up your phone and, like, you know, click on any other app. So, you know, I guess it's just a really easy, this is quite an easy way of monitoring it. But especially if you do have to check your apps quite often. So yeah. And then screen time also can tell you, like, if you're not using it already, it's pre-installed on your iPhone, but here's some apps on Android, and depending on your Android phone, it might come with it already. But you can see how much time you're spending on your phone each day, your screen time, and then you can also see how much time you're spending on each app. So say, oh, hey, like I'm spending way too much time on my personal phone, on my Slack channel. Maybe I should tone it down, or maybe you're spending too much time on emails, or, you know, so on and so forth, or even just social media on a personal level. Like, you know, I'm spending way too much time on LinkedIn, right? And just to kind of circle around, like, there are all these like little steps you can take to minimize how much you are, how much, you know, intake of these apps and all these work apps, you know, which make it really easy when you are working, but when you are trying to, you know, relax and unwind, sometimes there's some other apps that might help. So Clearhead, if you haven't heard of it, you know, we do push it a lot because it's honestly amazing. I've been starting to use it and it's really good, but essentially we've teamed up with Clearhead, which is I think New Zealand company, but essentially they provide, you know, a wellbeing assistant, which is like a wellbeing chatbot that's designed by mental health professionals. So, you know, you'll gain important insights and self awareness and learn techniques and through regular conversations. And like, unlike, you know, some other chatbots, this is a really good chatbot, to be honest. Like, you can talk to it and it'll give you, like, you know, the top line information, and we'll just go all the way to the right. If you do want to talk to a person, you know, it is really easy to book with therapists that deliver both in person and online guest meetings. Yeah, and then, you know, it's got profiles and all of them, so you can find the right fit based on your needs, type, availability, and more. There is a well-being plan, which, you know, so you can set it up to, I guess, with lots of lessons. So they're kind of like Jitter Boost. So if you like Jitter Boost, you'll like Clearhead. You know, there's lots of nice little short videos. and interactive tools. But the best way to show this is, I hope you can still see my screen, is let's just jump into it. So if you're in the DigitalBoost homepage, I guess, this is the one we know and love. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you see Clearhead here. So it's next to the DigitalBoost Live app. So if you don't have those apps, shameless plug again, please download them. They're great. You can listen to podcasts offline. You can, so there's Clearhead here. So, you click that and it'll take you to a digitalboost.clearhead.org.nz. So DigitalBoost and Clearhead have teamed up to provide free access to mental health resources. And then I already signed up. I won't go through that process, but it's really easy. You just put in your email and password, as usual, and then you get in. So I'm going to sign in instead. And once you're in, it's honestly amazing how many features there are. So, so you can see that there's an assistant. So this is a new account. So when you do sign in, you talk to an assistant, and then it's a 2 to 3 minute, like they ask you some questions about you and like what you're after. So maybe I'm looking for a tool, and then it really breaks it down. So say like for me, let's say maybe it's work life, right? And then again, because this is designed by like mental health professionals, this is honestly quite a good chatbot in terms of it's literally what they've written. So maybe I'm having difficulty concentrating, right? So you kind of get the idea, but I definitely recommend going to this assistant, because it's really easy. It's so good. And then you can go to explore your lessons. So there's heaps of lessons here, about different, I guess, areas. So maybe, like this is, and they're categorized. So there's coping, there's learning, there's doing. So maybe I want to look at mindfulness, right? And then there's videos and tools all baked in. It's such a good like system. Everything's like, again, designed by professionals. So that's really good. And then again, it's like you can easily contact a therapist, a professional therapist, if you need to as well. So yeah, that's Clearhead. It's obviously it's a different experience for everyone. I definitely recommend giving it a try. We can present, giving it a try, and then yeah. And yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it. There's a lot of different steps on how to tune out for the holiday. So definitely, do what works for you. Try a few things. Not everything will work. Try something at least. I guess that's kind of my advice to people. And then yeah, I guess Victoria and I will both go through like how we kind of tune out and how people we know have often try to tune out. So yeah, before that, again, reach out for support if you want to chat to us about anything at all. If you want any ideas on how to tune out or about anything else, if you do want to, oftentimes not doing work, but like upskilling yourself or learning some new tools for your business is a good thing. So if you want to talk about any challenges, we do have some people working with the break. So if you do want to have a quick chat with the team, give us a message. Any feedback about this session or anything to do with DigitalBoost, again, the same, feedback@digitalboost.co.nz email, and then check out the rest of the events. Again, this is the last week of webinars before we take a break. Then they restart on the 10th of January again. And that is all for the slides. So
that was fantastic. Thanks, Tip.
that's it.
We did have a quick I guess, comment from Dean online. He just said, yeah, was thinking while mowing the lawns, maybe taking time away from work to just check emails is a way to see how successful the automation features you have are working, and see if they're really working. So that's a really good point.
Yeah, definitely. That's like, and like I think like like I've kind of touched on the basics, like stuff like like emergencies and stuff, but like you can get really smart about it. So say like someone mentions booking in your email, you can send a custom message regarding booking. So it's like, hey, did you want to make a booking? Like our hairdressers are shut, but here's a link to our booking form and have a look, and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely automation, especially now, and I think in the next like 5 years, it'll just become normal and everything, right?
Definitely.
Did you?
Do you want to tell us a bit about how you wind down for the holidays?
Yeah, so I guess for me, I touched on it before, but like, to be honest, I'm really bad at like just checking my apps, just when I'm waiting for a flight, or just hanging around, like so it's kind of just minimizing my own screen time, because I spend like 8 hours a day at least, probably more than that, looking at a screen every day in my regular day. So it's kind of just making sure that my I guess I reduce as much screen time as I can, and I enjoy like being at the beach, or being drinking some wine, or whatever we're doing on holiday, whatever we enjoy doing. So definitely like I delete my work apps, and just let the people who are working let them know that this is my number, give me a call if you need anything. And then yeah, that's probably like the main thing for me, because I am quite bad at just keep thinking about it, but like adding those barriers for me helps a lot. And yeah, and I guess I like, honestly, sometimes even like just being present somewhere is really good, because it does take it out of your mind. And then when I do come back, I always feel super refreshed and like renewed energy, and I come with new ideas when I come back from holiday. So it's kind of like that's the benefit of that, because you kind of like zone out and you come in with like a fresh face. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add on that, on yourself even?
I guess, yeah, I pretty much noted down most of the things that you touched on anyway. So for me, yeah, I have to make a real effort to tidy up all the loose ends, because I don't want any of them on my mind to worry about while I'm trying to relax. So yeah, I make a real big effort to get that done. And then, yeah, as you said, put your out of office on, turn off notifications, but let people know how to get in touch for emergencies. And then it was quite funny that you mentioned it, because I'd written down, maybe have a discussion about what an emergency is. So just really telling them, what you will count as an emergency if someone gets in touch. And then for me, it's just take every day as it comes. I like getting up early to do nothing. It might sound silly, but the rest of the year is usually, as soon as I'm up, then it's action stations with getting ready, getting children ready, getting dogs walked, getting everything ready for the day. So for me, it's a really big thing to get up early, but then do nothing, even for a little while. And also for me, and I'm sure this is going to resonate with sort of small business owners, is perhaps ask others to make the plans and the decisions for the day or for the week. There is something called like decision fatigue. And it's because for a lot of us, every single thought is a decision we're making, whether it's what are we going to wear, how are you going to do your hair today, tip, or what shoes are you going to wear, what time are you leaving for work, what time will you get there, what are you going to do when you get there, you're going to check emails first. These are all decisions that we make, and sometimes we just need someone to take that away from us and just tell us we do nothing. healthy eating options that you love. Go for a walk, get in the water is big for me. I'm definitely a water baby. So being in or next to water or on the water in a boat is great. Or just get out into real nature. I don't think there's anything that sort of brings me back to like a really good place than being in nature and seeing a waterfall or an amazing tree or just something that's so beautiful, and it sort of makes you just feel a bit more grounded. And then, yeah, just stop and breathe and relax, and dance, sing, laugh, give someone a hug. And yeah, being really thankful for what I have and who I have around me. And then we get into the guilty pleasures. So one thing I love to do is drive. I just hop in my car and I'll just drive with really loud music on. Usually I have a destination, but not always. And sometimes I like to stay up late as a busy person with lots of different hats to wear. Yeah, I usually tend to go to bed quite early so I can get up refreshed, but sometimes I just think, nope, I'm going to stay up really late. And sometimes I binge watch Glee. If you don't know what Glee is, maybe you should or shouldn't check it out, but it's definitely my guilty pleasure. And a cup of tea and some chalky biscuits is another guilty pleasure. And all of those things just bring me back to a really good space. And then I sort of, that's me wound down, ready to take on the world.
Oh, that's amazing. That sounds. I want to do that. I want to jump in water. Yeah, and then and I guess I mean like I like for like nice hikes or walks and stuff. You know, it's just nice being present somewhere. And yeah, that's really cool, Victoria. Thanks for sharing with everyone. And yeah, so Dean listened to a podcast by Indeed Business Broker. Oh, he was listening to it. Sorry. Being able to take 3 weeks away from business, a true test of a successful business is being able to take 3 weeks away from your business and not to ride back to problems and issues. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then that's super. That's cool. Like, and then it's if you do things beforehand, or if you have team members that can do it, that's always really good. So yeah, thanks for sharing. And I think it's definitely super true that everyone does need a break. Sometimes it's harder for others to have a break, but like I'm sure there are studies, like I think I did read a study, like people who do come back with fresh ideas and all that kind of stuff. And even if you do have to do work in between, make it as easy as possible, I guess. So yeah, I guess it's probably a good time to wrap up unless you have any other thoughts, feelings, Victoria.
Yeah, I just I guess for me, part of really winding down, and from a business perspective, because I guess that's what the business we're in is, making a really good plan for next year. Planning just means that when the unexpected happens, which we've all had over the last couple of years, we can change what we have planned. It's really hard to make a plan when we're in the middle of something really unexpected or quite chaotic. So I think, make a really good plan, put in short-term goals, not just long-term goals, so that you have little achievables and you feel like you're winning a lot. Plan for the unexpected, plan for lockdowns. If we anticipate problems that we're going to have, it's easier to think about possible solutions before we're in that situation. And manage expectations and be kind to yourself, be kind to others. It's been a real tough year. Take a break, breathe. I know that's what I'll be doing, and lots of people will be doing. And then, as Tip mentioned a couple of times, reach out. There are great apps to help you. There's a lot of support to help you, especially if you're in a small business. You've got your regional business partners, chambers, government agencies, I don't know, if you've got capacity or the budget, maybe treat yourself to a mentor for next year, or reach out to see if there's a free mentoring program that you can join to help you with some planning. But yeah, just be kind, unwind, and breathe.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so that's a nice place to leave it, to be honest. So yeah, so again, we'll see you again tomorrow, and then one more time on Friday, and if I don't see you again, have a good Christmas, a good New Year's, and yeah, we'll definitely see all of you next year. And thanks again so much for you for joining. And yeah, have a good rest of your day. I hope it's as sunny as it is in Otahe, Christchurch. Definitely is. I'm excited to go pull back ride, and I hope you guys get to do something fun today.